Hey folks, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. I'm here with Josh. We're with AR15.com, and today we're going to be talking about the EOTech Vudu 1 to 10. So a couple things. Low power variable optics have really become popular, and for a lot of different reasons. The biggest reason is that the increased magnification allows you to extend the range, and when we're talking about a rifle, the one nice thing about the rifle is the lethality at distance. So I can push this caliber 5.56 out to a pretty decent range, and when I couple that, with an improved optics such as a 1 to 10, now I'm really able to extend that range that much further. The idea is that I want to be able to do both long range and close range. And that's where the low power variable optics really kind of became popular. Now, to find a balance between something that does good work at long range and something that does good work at close range is the constant struggle that we see in the industry. So what are we getting with that 1 to 10? Well, a couple things. The key feature for me was that 1 to 10, it's given me just that little extra oomph over a 1 to 8. So I like it for that reason.
Well, and you also don't lose the 8. I like a lot of people look at the per. They say, well, it's 1 to 6 or it's 1 to whatever. You have 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 6. You have all of those within that 1 to 10. You have that extra bit, and especially in this specific use case, when I need that first round hit, that extra 2 magnification on the top end, those extra 2 power does make a big difference.
I agree. The other key feature that I really liked is that they came to the market with their push button technology. So they have these push buttons all around the actual turret here that allows you to power it on, adjust the brightness setting up or down. The other thing that I thought was really nice is that it is a toolless battery change. So I don't need any kind of tool. I just unscrew the cap, replace the battery, screw the cap back on, I'm back in business. So that was kind of a nice addition to their lineup here. And then something that when you start to get up to the more magnification, the 1 MOA aiming dot. So those were the key features that I kind of jumped at when I saw this come out and when we started to play with it. Now you've also got some of the other cool stuff. I like how they did a capped windage, and they have more of a very low profile elevation turret here. It has the the lockout capability or the zero stop kind of capability where you lift it up and turn it and move. Nice audible clicks, nice tactile clips. So I dig that. The other kind of unique feature that I think they added to this is that it's a single eyepiece here. So when you're reaching up there to grab a handful of that tube to crank up that magnification, it's a pretty decent purchase, if you will. So that was another thing.
Thanks to our sponsor Spartan Armor Systems for making this video possible. Spartan Armor Systems is dedicated to providing the best American-made body armor in the industry for civilians, law enforcement, and the military. You can find out more at SpartanArmorSystems.com. Protect what's yours.
If you're going to be in the game as far as a low power variable optic, you're going to be in first focal plane. You're not going to. So again, same thing. So it's not like we really need to address first focal plane. If you're in the low power variable optic market, you already are in that first focal plane kind of party wagon.
I like to party.
Another thing that they did really well is the overall length here is not that big. It's about 10.6, like 10.5 inches. So nice size. They went with slightly bigger tube, the 34 millimeter tube, but again, they went up to 10 power, so it makes sense that they would have to compensate a little bit to get more
light collection.
Exactly. They'd have to compensate for that magnification with a slightly bigger tube to get more light in there. One of the things that I was kind of excited about is that it comes with 3 different reticles. So you've got your standard kind of like SR minute MOA reticle, then you've got the milliradian reticle, and then you've got like a special LE version of that. The one thing that I was a little disappointed in is that the minute reticle just has a stadia line going down. It doesn't have the technical reticle that I like to see in some of my low power variable optics. Okay, let's be honest. Is that a game ender? Not necessarily. Until you actually have to start to factor in wind. And if you're pushing out a distance, that technical reticle with the ability to hold both for elevation and windage is key. It's really a big deal. So is it the game ender for me? Not really. The minute is nice. I can deal with it. But if I had my druthers, my preference would be to go with the mil-radian version because it does integrate that technical reticle.
And I think it kind of goes into like why you're getting an LPVO is for that able for very precise aiming at distance.
Yes.
The nice thing is it gets you as close to 1x power as you're going to get.
Yes. The other thing, you mentioned this too, this has a very close red dot sight-ish feel to it. So when you're using it at the 1 power, that speed ring gives you the good opportunity to center, superimpose that over the body, and then that smaller speed ring gives you kind of like a little bit of a donut that you can use as your aiming reference for those close range settings. So that was the one thing that I was kind of enamored with. It made it kind of nice.
I think with a proper cheek weld, you're not missing a red dot as much as you think you would with this. Because that was the biggest surprise to me. It was like on that first round was hard. Once I got behind the optic, every follow-up shot after that was pretty easy.
Sure.
On follow-up shots and stuff like that, this is really where this starts to smoke scope, a traditional scope that's going to be your 3 to 9 or your 5. You have enough eye box to really get behind the thing and shoot.
It is actually a very generous eye box. I think it's like about a 3.9, somewhere in that. The eye relief is about 3.9, so that makes for a nice, easy eye box. So one of the other features that I really like, and this is something that I thought they do really well, is the auto shutoff.
They didn't try to overcomplicate it with solar panels or anything like that, or shake awake. It just says, hey, at 2 hours it's going to shut off. And you just got to click one button and it's right back to the settings that I just left it on. It's a super easy.
I agree.
They kept it very simple.
I like that part, that it goes right back to where it was previously. So that was kind of like a cool little feature that I don't really see that in any other low power variable optic. So good on you guys. Now let's talk about the cost, because one of the things that I thought was really impressive was all those features, all those benefits, the 1 to 10, the footprint. It's coming in at retail MSRP at $17.99. So that's actually really competitive for the feature-rich unit that you've got to work with. So there was a con for me. And the con is this is a 1 to 10, but it is virtually impossible to crank. It's almost 180 degrees to get it to that 10 power. So, and your hand comes into contact with the upper receiver, so unless you have super thin fingers, it's not going to slide underneath that gap that you have between the mount and the receiver. So what ends up happening is that you end up using a twofer kind of cheater grip. So you crank it up to about 1 to 6 or 1 to 8, somewhere in that neighborhood, and then you've got to re-grip and then crank it all the way over to that 10 power. So that's my one con, is that it's nice in the sense that it's a solid piece back here, so I just get my hand on there, but I have to use a re-gripping step to get that all the way to that 10 power. Folks, we'd love to hear your comments or your opinions on if you're running one of these new Vudus. If you've got a suggestion for a future LPVO that you want to see us play with, we're all ears. If you've got some other requests about some other product that you want us to play with, don't hesitate to post it down below. We'd love to hear all of that. Again, hit the like, the subscribe, all those other features that just help us keep these videos flowing into your screen so that we can get you the information that we're trying to. Josh, any final thoughts?
No, I think it's a cool thing. Get us more suggestions so I get to shoot more guns.
There's that. I'm Jeff Gonzalez. This is Josh. Until then, take care and stay safe.